A question I have too is you talked about stagnancy in anti-racism education, and I'm
Mhm.
wondering about how that is impacting our youth. And we may have already somewhat addressed this, but I wonder if there's more you want to say about it. Is there a culture that we can work towards in the church to develop that embraces really good pacing in this area? Because I think, it does become very easy to just say, okay, we've addressed anti-racism this month. Here's
Right,
MLK Day. Look at this presenter we brought in. Check the box. And it's like,
right.
this is not integrated into the whole life of a youth group or of a church. So is there another way we can try to approach this, especially for our young people?
I'm gonna have a scary response.
Yeah.
I just want to kind of give you a disclaimer ahead of time, prepare you, right?
Okay.
Be responsive.
Hmm.
Be responsive. It is a scary response. Let me tell you why. As often as matters, even as a starting point, if you're wondering how often are we supposed to talk about this, what is it supposed to look like? Well, when my teenager picks up his phone and he gets on TikTok or whatever, news is coming just as quickly there as it would be in our newspapers, right? Or on our 10 o'clock news. And so, as often as news is coming in, we should be talking about it.
Hmm.
So creating a culture, right? And I say it's scary because that's a lot, right? Like
It is.
that's a lot. Every time you turn on the TV, there is something that's going on, right? And so responsive meaning, our youth are seeing what's happening in the news. They know that it's here,
Yep.
right? Like they know that it's here. So creating a culture is looking at like what is the type of culture that we're hoping, what are the type of leaders that we're hoping to create? And looking ahead at that, and now let's kind of back up. Well, if we want leaders that are going to be motivated to take action and to address what's happening and when in this adult stage, then we've got to begin to address that now and talk about it now. And so excuse me, part of eliminating and kind of like restarting and addressing the stagnancy is no, there's no conversation, like nobody's
Right.
talking because we
Right.
assume we don't want to talk about it. And there are tons of people in our churches who say, listen, I go to church because I need the warm and fuzzy. I hear about all the hard things, 6 days
Yep.
a week, and I come here. But that's not the point of church.
That's right.
Church is not meant to be warm and fuzzy. You can be warm and fuzzy all the other places, right, in our lives, but church is meant to be a space. It's supposed to be a space of refuge and a pillar to share and spread the gospel of Jesus Christ, at least the Protestant churches. And so, in that way, then part of spreading that love means that we've got to be able to even understand why the love is needed in the first place. And so,
Right.
creating a culture means that we've got to, as often, if you're wondering, how often do we talk about, how often does it pop up in the news? Right? Like, how
Yeah.
often is something happening? How
Yep.
often are these shootings happening at school? How often, like, so every time, right? Because that's the urgency that we want for our, think about the urgency that we want for our now leaders in our nation to take about certain issues, the urgency
Hmm.
that we're saying we wish they would take, but we have an opportunity right now to pour in that urgency to our young people so that it can be a part embedded in their formation so they
Hmm.
can be responsive when it happens, right?
Yeah.
So as
Yeah.
often as this happens, that's the culture. Create
Yeah.
a culture that discusses race and racism and normalizes that lament.
Yeah.
Create that every single time, creating that. Have discussions about disparities and about the current events and give them permission to ask these questions so that they don't feel as if there is not space for them to be inquisitive or to be exploratory.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think you're exactly right. I mean, normalizing the conversation because it is the it is the food we eat. It is the water in which we swim.